Thank everybody for coming out. It has been, today's been a trying day for me. Has anybody had a trying day? I mean, that's almost, I've got a customer, I clean water for a living. So, I've got a customer that's dealing with regulations so much. What does clean water mean? This is the water I get, and this is the water that I make. I've got 400 of these that I've put around this country. This company is more concerned with the regulations than they are with getting something working and training operators. Pages and pages. And then I was lucky enough on the way here to stop and fill up with gas. Washington, D.C. can fix the gas prices if they just got around to doing what they're supposed to do. Both sides. It's amazing to me that we let the prices go up and up. Anyway, I am Tom Weaver. I'm running for the 3rd Congressional seat of Massachusetts. I live in Westford, Massachusetts. I'm married, have a bunch of kids, and I have 3 grandsons being born this summer in July, God willing, to go along with the other grandchildren. I know I don't look quite that old, but a little bit about me. Some of you know my background, some don't. I was an Eagle Scout in Fort Worth, Texas, my hometown. Went to the Naval Academy, got a degree in aeronautical engineering. Was accepted into the nuclear power program. Was an electrical officer on a cruiser. Navigator on another cruiser. Got out, went to work for General Electric, aircraft engines, designing jet engines. They sent me to MIT where I got a master's, and then I found my love, cleaning water. It's amazing all of the different aspects because every job is different. So that's the little bit about me. To run for Congress, you have to know what to say. Jobs, unemployment, small government, that's what we have to say. Everybody is good at that. You have to be. But I'm running for Congress because I do have 3 grandsons being born this summer. And in my mind, this country is in deep trouble. We can blame the Democrats, we can blame whoever we want, but it's both sides in many aspects that have done this. This election, we've got so many issues, but it really boils down to one single issue. One single issue is going to define this entire election. From the President, to the Senate, to the Congress, to the State Senate, to the state reps, to the local people. Are we going to support and back candidates who believe in local control, or are we going to proceed down the path of total government? Anybody notice where total government's taken us over the last 10 years? We're bickering about all these different things, social issues, and economy issues, and energy issues. I've got this idea. None of that matters. Because from the President to Scott Brown to the Congress to the local state, if we don't put people into office that believe that the power belongs here in Fitchburg or in Gardner or in Townsend, that's where the power belongs. Not Washington, D.C. They do not know the issues of Fitchburg or Lawrence. They don't know it. Heck, I've talked to some of the people on Beacon Hill. They don't know it either. But we do. This country was founded on local issues. And so what we do is when I go down to Washington, D.C., I'm not going down for status quo or to get along or whatever. I've seen what get along does. I've seen what compromise does. Everybody knows what compromise is in Washington, D.C., right? 16 trillion in debt and going up. No child left behind. Obamacare. That's what compromise means. That's where you have a group that believe in total government control trying to compromise and make those that think that local control is good. That's what happens. I don't believe in that type of compromise because that's not good for my grandchildren. It's not good for your grandchildren, your kids, or us. We've got to get back to the principles and values that made us good. What compromises got us is debt, out of control spending, and this monster called unelected bureaucracies. We thought, a lot of people thought, electing Obama was going to go for change. All it did was step on the accelerator. Because what didn't change are these bureaucracies. We all know that. We've seen, you've gone to Home Depot and found the bucket, and somebody hired by the federal government's put a little sign that said, don't let babies swim in the bucket because they can drown. You know, it's a bucket. You've seen that. That's what we're dealing with. Regulation upon regulation. I make my living with the EPA. I will tell you the EPA is passing laws to clean water. Excuse me? They have to. The bucket rule was put in. We're going to tax everybody that's got over $1 million or something until they figure out where to put their money. That's supposed to raise $5 billion. If we cut federal government, not entitlements, cut federal government 1%, let's say $26 billion a year. To me, that's a no-brainer. Now, when you look at it, there is one issue, one big issue that pulls everything together. It is jobs. Not government jobs. The last thing I need when I go through the airport is to see another TSA person shaking down an 85-year-old lady. I'm tired of that. There's no common sense. These jobs don't create wealth for anybody. But jobs are important. We do have an 8% unemployment rate, but we also have an 8% that stop looking. We also have every year that 10% or whatever that get out of high school, get out of college, that have never been, so they don't have a job. We've got a lot of senior citizens whose entire life savings over the past 10 years have gone to nothing that want to get work to make ends meet, to buy something for their grandchildren. They need jobs. That's another 5%. And we have a group that we have been seasoned never to talk about that don't have jobs. Those on welfare. When you look at that total scope of people that don't have jobs, you're easily getting to 40% of Americans that could work do not have jobs. And so what we need is we need a pro-business environment. That means certainty, that means taxes, that means regulations. We could cut regulations for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and we could all sit there and say and look at the regulations, there's still too many. That's how many there are. We've done this before. We have created jobs for 30% of the American public. Has anybody here ever heard of the Great Depression or the Great Recession and unemployment in the 1946-47 era? Nobody has. It didn't happen. It didn't happen because the Democrat president was smart enough to know that he had to cut the tax rate in half, and he had to cut regulations, and he had to cut spending, and all those GIs, everybody that fought and bled so that we could be free today, came home and were able to transition into jobs over a year period or whatever. And we led to that prosperity of the 50s and the 60s. That's why I'm running. I want to be part of the group down in D.C. that understands that Americans can create jobs and that we as individuals can solve our problems. Anyway, I learn a lot more from you than you will ever learn from me. So, I'd like questions.